What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition of Space Invaders TV. I know it's been a while, it's been a minute, but we're just gonna jump right into it. You guys, if you've been following me, you know how I do with the content. If I'm, when these stories, certain stories come out, I like to go right to the source, right to the state where it happened at. I like to listen and read their publications and what they're actually talking about, because once it starts to hit around the country and his other media outlets outside of where it actually took place, it starts to the information starts to get watered down and stomped on, and all types of extra is thrown in there, and we just gonna jump right in. So on June the 18th, 2023, in the Pullman area in Chicago, a woman named Carlisia Hood was in a restaurant, a takeout restaurant, getting something to eat. I'm sure by now all of you have seen this clip surfacing when it was a woman inside the restaurant and a man was punching on her like as if she was another man. That guy's name was Jeremy Brown. Okay, and from my understanding, I was getting mixed. When I hear certain stories, I try to look into them more and try to wait and see if anything else develops out of it, before just jumping right into the first thing when you hear it. You just automatically, you got bloggers automatically running right to the computer soon as some news hits, and it hasn't even developed and really, took shape. So before anybody, people were running to computers and putting up and saying so many different things, and you didn't even really know the story. And at the time, I was on vacation myself, so I heard it while I was on vacation, but I didn't really tap into it. But immediately, what was in my mind, I was like, okay, what what ran through my mind at the moment when I seen it, because I was walking past and passing, and I slowed up by the TV, and I was like, huh? And then I just kept it moving, and then but then I started seeing it circulating through social media, but I still never clicked on it and really tapped in. I just seen the tagline, the headline, and I'm like, okay. So only thing that run through my mind was, is this a domestic violence issue? What else? I was like, what? I wasn't justifying whatever the murder. However, I was just trying to. I was like, it's got to be something more to it. You know what I mean? Than just what we seeing. But from me doing my research, I was hearing different things like this guy Jeremy Brown was ex-boyfriend of Carlisia Hood. I hadn't seen anything on that, and if it was, that really doesn't even matter at this point. But I didn't see anything on that at all. So before really diving in, I just want to say, peace and blessings to Carlisia Hood and her son, which he's only 14. His name was not disclosed because he's a juvenile. So, and that's just to protect him. Um, what I want to say is to the young man, to your son, Carlisia Hood, is that was a noble and honorable thing that you did, stepping up for your mother, and in her time, a distressed and someone uh, beating and possibly, she was threatening, your mother's life was threatened and in danger, and you stepped in, as we are taught, that we should do, as we are taught as young men. you know um I also want to go in and I want to say that I was reading the article, local publication out of Chicago, and I'm hearing that Miss Carlisia Hood, is going to be suing uh, the city. And what I want to say is, okay, but how about what happened to mental, getting some psych psychiatric help, mental help? What about getting that psychiatrist? Okay, What about doing that first? Why are we not hearing that? Why are we jumping right to a lawsuit? Okay, and I'm gonna dive into what I believe about the lawsuit. I'll get into that portion, but I want to get back onto this what happened, and in no shape or form, Miss Carlisia Hood, I'm not um, blaming you for being attacked and beaten and punched like you were a punching bag or like you were another man. I'm not blaming you at all for that, because don't no woman should be abused at all. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And it's also a two-way street to that too. Nobody should put their hands. No man should put his hands on a woman. He's a man. We should be protecting our women and our children. No woman should put her hands on a man either. But this is not about a woman putting her hands on a man. This is about a woman simply just trying to defend herself or fend off this animal. Okay? So, but this right here, this is a case that's going on, and this is the epitome of what we talk about with the black man being in the home. You see, we got women that they have young men they're raising, and they're raising them, and they have to protect the home because there's not a male there. And my strong belief is a lot of these things that we see going on in these streets and with these young adults, these young men, there's no father in the home. Okay? There's no father in the home. They're not learning any man, any how to be a man. They're not learning that. There's a lot of us that are there in the home. Shout out to all the men that are there. But there's a lot of men that are not in the home. And I'm not talking about the men that's being blocked and they have to fight their way into being in their child life. I'm not talking about you gentlemen. I'm talking about the ones who just choose not to be in a child's life. And I'm gonna tell you straight up like this: I can't trust no man that don't choose to be in his own seed, his own child's life, his own family, his own flesh and blood. He chooses not to be in that child's life. I can't not trust you. I can't not you. I can't really, to be honest with you, I can't even be friends with you, because how can I befriend somebody that you don't even care about your own flesh and blood? So how in the heck could you care about a friend, a girlfriend, a wife, or any other family member, if you can't care, if you don't have a care in the world for your own blood, something that came from you, regardless of how you feel about the other person. And all of that also goes back to the fact of we have to make choices, the right choices. And I'm not saying that this is the case of Miss Carlisia Hood at all. I'm just speaking on something, and you're gonna see how I bridge it here. So this young man, Jeremy Brown, just thought it was okay to step out and for whatever reason, because we don't see what took place before that, but whatever the case was, this woman wasn't threatening him, running towards him, or trying to harm him, cause him any bodily harm. So this gentleman, this cat wasn't taught right. So you just beating on a woman in public, you think that's okay? See, who raised you? That was he was 32 years old. Who raised him? They should be ashamed. Who raised him to be beating on a woman in public like that? Like, what could she have done or said to you so bad that you had to put hands on that woman like that? And then you were punching this woman like you were in a fucking boxing ring. So yeah, he got what his hands called for. He got what young boys learned or taught or what's installed in us as young men coming up, as early as we can understand, 6, 7 years old. Protect the house. Watch out for your mama. Don't let nobody hurt your mama. You look out for her. You the man of the house. So that's what this young man did. He protected his mother as he should, the woman that birthed him. Yeah, you hear everybody say, you hear that when people say things like, especially our black people, they'll say things like, this one right here, I know somebody touched this one right here, So a lot of us have strong relationships with our mothers. Many of us have strong relationships with our mothers, so close, to where some of us, it's almost like that's your sister. You know what I mean? Like it's so close. And then some of us, our parents were young when they got pregnant with us, so you kind of grew up with your mother, so it's almost like you were her child, but it was almost like you're like her little brother or a little sister or something like that. You understand me? So what I'm saying is relationships be that tight, just be close. So I don't know nobody who really loves their mother that would stand by and watch somebody just beat on their mother. Okay, I don't know nobody, but at the same time, I would say this, Miss Hood, you can sue the city all you want and everything, right? And if they did give you anything, right, that money's not going to take away what the stain that's on you and your son's brain. That's going to be forever with him, okay? So I would hope that you would get some counseling, and continuous counseling for that, because the first one I heard, I didn't know what was going. I didn't, like I said, when I heard it was in passing. I would see it come through my feed on social media, but I don't always tap into every article and everything. That stuff will drive you crazy, okay? And a lot of times I have my theories on a lot of things, because just like I can't remember the woman's name right offhand. Just like the woman down in Florida that pretty much was a fucking bad neighbor, okay, a racist neighbor, white woman that once she was talking really disrespectful to the black woman's kids. The black woman come across the grass to confront the lady about it, knock on the door, and she shoots the lady through the door. I don't remember that name. Y'all remember the names, y'all can put it in the comments. But see, just that, like, what I'm saying is, you have these situations, like, they keep happening, different scenarios and stuff like that. So sometimes I can't tap into everything. That stuff will drive you crazy. I'll stay informed by, keeping an eye on it and being aware. But I can't like go over every situation, and that's what really prompted me to step back from doing so much talking on my channel here, and just come and speak when I feel necessary. In this situation, this is a totally different situation, because this is a young boy, 14 years old, a teenager, and he had to endure something like that. He watching somebody beat on his mother, and then in the publications they're saying that his mother was saying, kill him, telling her son to kill Jeremy Brown. Like, you kill him, shoot him. So all of these things are going to play back in that young man's mind. And it played back in that young man's mind after he done it. And I understand what Miss Carlisia Hood is saying about, she was brutally attacked by this person, and then she wound up in jail. I understand that what she's feeling, and feel like she want to sue the city for that, or the state or whatever, Illinois, for that. I understand what she may be feeling there. And like I said, we'll get back into that. I just want to stay on this right here for a minute, as far as between the mother and the son situation, and the family, and what we do, traumas that we put on our families and family members, fathers, man, if you know you're a father and you not in your child's life, and there's nothing blocking you from being in your child's life, really, um, you need to be there. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. You need to be there. You know, the child didn't ask to be born here. There are a lot of things that we see happening here. You got mothers trying to raise boys, and that's a woman. And I'm just gonna keep it real. A woman don't know. A woman can't. They've done it and they do it. The women gave birth to the world. Okay, by the grace of God. Okay, or whatever you believe, but understand. You know what I'm saying? A woman birthed a nation. Okay, so, but a woman to teach a boy to be a man, that is something, you know, because then if there's a cycle going on when this woman didn't have her father in her life, then and then she had no male figure in her life, then what is she basing this off of? What is she basing that off of? And we have to pay attention to that. She has no notes to go off of. Okay? So what we have in here around the country, and this is just something that has to be talked about, what we having and we seeing around the country, we got young boys running loose. We got a lot of young boys that were pacified, and then they get out here in this world and they want to be hardcore, and they get out here on these streets and they meet some real hardcore cats that ain't never been pacified, and then that's where the conflict starts. That's where we get all of these shootings in the neighborhoods and the hoods. You know what I'm saying? That's where we getting a lot of this stuff going on in the streets today. That's at an all-time high, and I'm just keeping it real as a man in my mid to late 40s. I'm just keeping it real. All right, and it's time that we got to keep it real amongst ourselves. We have to, you know, we got to step in, fathers, and that, like I said, once again, I'm not saying that this is what Miss Carlisia Hood situation is. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is this type of situation, sometimes these are the makeups, because this woman had to look out to her son to defend her, you know, in that manner, to a 14-year-old when he should be steady learning how to be a man, not straight jumping in the fire and becoming a man, trial and error. And this type of error where this young man has to make a choice to kill this man or watch this man continuously beat on his mother. You know, and he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have had to be in that situation. You know, and I just say that once again. I know a lot of people were cheering like, yeah, that's right. You know, once I tapped in and started trying to do a little research and stuff, and I started hearing different things, and I'm like, okay, but if Miss Carlisia Hood and Jeremy Brown were in a relationship, I don't know. I didn't see anything on that. It really doesn't matter to me. But I was seeing that people were saying that, and I'm like, you know, my first thought was, okay, if Miss Carlisia Hood did not know Jeremy Brown, then I thought immediately they said her son shot him and killed Jeremy Brown. My thought was maybe the young man was triggered because maybe he's seen his moms go through this abuse before, and this triggered him. And you know, so I was thinking like, man, I hope, like, wow, if they try to, you know, give him time, man, I hope that, you know, he gets a real good lawyer and stuff. You know, that's where my mind went, because I hadn't fully tapped in, you know, so my mind kind of went there, you know, a little bit, but I couldn't go but so deep because I hadn't really looked into what was going on. what had all took place, how it all transpired on June 18th, 2023 in Chicago, Pullman neighborhood. But we have to, we got to step in as men, because these situations like this was totally different. And again, once again, this is what I've been taught as a young man. Protect your mother. You're the man of the house when I'm not around. Your father tells you the man of the house when I'm not around. Or your uncles or whatever, your granddad, whatever, they tell you these things. You're the man of the house, or in their absence, but never, we have to remember that we cannot put our children in situations like that. So my thing is, Miss Carlisia Hood, if you were a licensed carrier, you should have had your gun with you. Then maybe you could have just shot the young man and got him up off of you. You know what I'm saying? We have to not put our children in situations, in stressful situations that they're not ready to handle. You know what I'm saying? We have to teach them and allow it to be a build-up in their life. You know what I'm saying? We are there to catch them or try to help them or cushion them in their fall, and try to teach them, like, okay, well, if you do this now, this is what's gonna happen. We have to be there to give them the other side of thinking. We have to give them the cons to the pros. You know what I'm saying? We have to be able to do that. So we can't throw them out here in life at the teenagers. We can't throw them out here in life at trial and error, because some of these errors there's no turning back from. And just so happened, it was just by luck. I wouldn't say by luck. It would just so happen the laws of Illinois are pretty much stand your ground. You can defend yourself. If somebody's trying to, you can, and you're a carrier, you can take them out. And if somebody's standing near and they see your life in danger, they too can jump in and assist. And so if needed be, take that person out who is threatening your life. That's Illinois law. So that's how they were able to walk away, because that is Illinois law. Okay? So again, my thing is, I seen people in the video and I'm like, well, why are none of these people, why are you guys running? Why didn't anybody just jump? Regardless if anybody knew that law or not, who gives a hell? Why nobody jumped on that man? So everybody seen this young man, they seen this young man come in or shoot this man in the back. Nobody, no elder that was around could have said, hey, don't do that. No, ma'am, he don't need to get that gun. Y'all should have jumped on Jeremy Brown ass and beat the brakes off of him. Okay? Everybody should have jumped on him and beat the brakes off of him. Hell, the young boy got off and his mama got off. Y'all would have got off. He killed them, and that's the law of the state. So y'all to just beat him, ain't nothing gonna happen. Who was gonna call the police? Who was gonna call the police if y'all beat the brakes off of this guy, off of Jeremy Brown? All of y'all that was in that store, in that restaurant that night, if y'all beat the brakes off of him, you ain't even had to beat the brakes off him, just jumped on him and beat him down. Like, who was gonna call the cops? Maybe the store? But then what? Y'all were all jumped on as people in the community to help this woman. So what ultimately would have happened in the court? Okay, that was the same way the shooting was on camera, the same way that ass whooping y'all would have gave Jeremy Brown would have been on camera too, and he would have been alive to live another day, and maybe have his limbs, and he would have learned, and they would have been in functioning order, maybe, and maybe he would have learned his damn lesson, you know. And then it wouldn't have been a 14-year-old boy having to do something that a grown man should have been doing, protecting. Okay. So that's my whole thought. I'm not gonna spend a whole bunch of time chiming in, because at the end of the day, there's nothing really. It's nothing much to say. It's another life lost, and pretty much all lives are lost in a sense. In a sense, you know what I'm saying? Just because Carlisia Hood and her son walked away from the courts, free of charges, their lives is a piece of them still taken too. It's a piece of that young man's innocence that is taken. Okay, it's a piece of her. It's a piece of Miss Carlisia Hood mental taken. It's both of their mentals are shattered by this, or stained by this. Jeremy Brown is not here. Not saying none he did was right. That was wrong, and he got what his hands called for. It just it had to be done by a 14-year-old. And if it was an older man involved, that situation could have been handled different. Jeremy Brown would have got his ass beat down. You know what I mean? He would have got them paws. He would have got pounced on. That's all I'm saying. If it was me, he would have got his ass pounced on. It would have took the police to come to pull me to hell. They would have had to peel me off of his ass. So yeah. So it's just that. So all parties, you know what I'm saying? A piece of Carlisia Hood and her son are taken mentally, emotionally, you know what I'm saying, and physically. And Jeremy Brown is not here in the physical. These are all situations. Jeremy Brown, obviously, he wasn't taught right by somebody. You come beating on a woman in public, and like she owed you something, and you beating on a woman, period. And watching the video, he seemed really comfortable with that shit too. Like, okay, this is what he do, so who taught him? Who raised him? All right, and then on a real, in actuality, if it wasn't the 14-year-old to do it, obviously he met his maker that night. Jeremy Brown met his damn maker that night, and I don't feel no remorse for him at all. No, you got what your hands called for. I just hate that it was a 14-year-old on the other side of that handgun. I just hate that the mother had to look to her son to do that, and it wasn't a grown-ass man there that could have thought different. It wouldn't have been like, you know what, I ain't got to go grab my pistol. He ain't got no pistol. I'm going to beat his ass with my bare hands, because I know he's a damn punk. He beating on women. You know what I'm saying? So it's this we just going to handle this just like this. You know what I'm saying? So I just hate that fact. So at the end of the day, that's the laws of Illinois. You can defend yourself in that manner if you feel like your life in danger, and you are, if Carlisia had the Hood had the gun on her, she could have shot and killed Jeremy after that damn first punch. But her son was standing there, and as the law states in Illinois, if somebody is standing there and someone standing near can assist you, someone standing there, if they see that your life's in danger, they can do the same. Okay? They can do the same. But let's be clear, if you got a gun, just because you got a gun, you better have paperwork on it out in Illinois. That don't mean you just go shoot at them because you got a gun. No, you better have paperwork. That's where the line gets, that's where it gets real, that's where it will be blurry for you. That's where it will be blurry for you in the court. You don't have paperwork. See, the difference is she had paperwork, and that was the young man. That was his mother. So, you know, I don't really think. I mean, I could be wrong. I still don't think that is over with. I don't think that is completely over with. And once again, I hope that the any therapists out there, I hope that they're black therapists. I hope that you're reaching out to Miss Hood and her son, and aiding them, and giving them some therapy. I hope that you're reaching out to them and offering therapy to them. You know, because we always talk about mental health, mental health, mental health. That's a whole big conversation. So I hope any of you therapists around Illinois, Cook County, I hope that you're reaching out to that family. I hope that you're assisting them. Okay, because a lot of people hang on to this mental health, mental health. We really got a mental health is wealth. Mental health is, we gotta we got to talk about it. Okay, this situation is going to be necessary. This situation is definitely necessary. Let's see y'all step up. You therapists that's around Cook County, step in, assist that family there. Offer them your assistance, okay, because they're going to need it, especially that young man. He has a whole life ahead of him, and he's going to have to live with that. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have to live with what happened. He's going to be visualizing that on a daily, okay? Maybe, who knows, for every minute of the day that's going to be on his mind. He's going to be thinking, he's going to get flashbacks of that situation. You know what I'm saying? And what happened, or what if he wasn't there, and he couldn't help his mother. He's going to have so many thoughts in his head. So I hope that you therapists around Cook County, around Illinois, black therapists, whatever, reach out to them. Reach out to them. They don't have to be black, but I'm just saying, since many of us, is a lot of talk about mental health, let's see how many of you reach out to this family. And, and just to piggyback in closing, I mean, just with me, what I thought in reading one little piece of what the police department had said, what Carlisia Hood is planning to sue, and they were saying multiple lawsuits. Now, my thought is this: the police department, they already said in the article in Chicago, they said that they didn't. The reason why they locked them up is because they only seen a portion of the video. And it's the investigation. They had to investigate. But after their quick, swift investigation, it took 5 days. After the swift investigation, they took notice and known, like, oh no, they wasn't wrong. They acted lawfully, and they released her and the son. So I don't that right there, like, there's an investigation that has to take place. And if you ask me, that was swift. In 5 days, that was swift. I can see if they knew and had all the facts, and Miss Hood and her son was still detained for like 30 days, then I can say, like, oh, that's crazy, man. They really trying to jerk them, man. But they acted swiftly. I think that was swiftly. They had to do. They didn't know. They said the angles they were getting just showed when the son shot Jeremy in the back, the mother and the son, and they heard the mother saying, kill him, or whatever, and they both ran out the store, and then they both supposedly left the scene. So now my thing is, I know if you leave a scene of a crime, like, that's if you leave a scene of a shooting, like, you were involved in that shooting, like, you were the shooter, and with a license, and you leave that's a charge. You know what I mean? Because I would think, I thought it was, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, at least that's kind of what it is here in this state of NC. But I don't know. But not to go deep down that rabbit hole, but all I can say is this: I don't know how far this lawsuit could go. I don't know how what can make out of it. But what is alarming to me was that a lawsuit was talked about and not like mental health. Like you weren't talking and asking for, you know, counseling. You know, you can have all the money in the world. You hear from a lot of people who have multi-millionaires, damn near billionaires. You can see it in their face. You can look in their eyes. Many are not happy. Money doesn't make you happy. You know, even you can have enough money to pay your bills, and you still have a nice grip left over after you pay all your bills. If you're not happy, you're not happy, and money is not going to change that. Okay, talking and therapy, that can change that. So I hope that's a conversation that comes up. I hope that there's therapists, you know, in Cook County that will reach out to the Hood family, to Miss Carlisia Hood and her son, because they're going to need it. My heart goes out to the young man and his mother. Prayers, blessings. I hope it's a lesson learned from that situation. I hope Miss Carlisia Hood will, you know, walk around with you licensed. I don't know if you were licensed to carry or what. I didn't really know. I hope that you would. If you're not licensed to carry, I hope that you get licensed to carry. You know, and keep your pistol on you. You know, you don't want this to even have to happen again. And I hope that, you know, others learn from this situation and understand. And I hope that, you know, man, we have to step up and be protectors. I know how many people may feel like if you're in the public, but if you're in the public and you're seeing a woman getting beat on, that you just can't just stand there and watch this, man. You know, or just walk. You just walk away and watch a woman get beat down to a pulp by another supposed to be man. Okay, you can't have that. So yeah, but that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to tap in on that and share my thoughts on this whole situation. Because yeah, this is a different one, and it's just a conversation, and it's a conversation, and it's many situations. This is just the epitome of women having to raise men, young boys to men. You know what I'm saying? And then the young boys are being heads of the household without no financial stake in it. They're just heads of the household. They're the protectors of the household, I should say. Sorry about that. They're the protectors of the household. And they're not ready for that. They're not ready for that, and we shouldn't have to put them into that, but we can teach them and groom them to be and allow them to watch the sea, but it has to be another man there. Yes, women has birthed a nation, but a woman can't raise a man. Men, brothers, we have to step up. If there's no reason, if there's nothing blocking you, seriously blocking you, there's no reason. If there's no blockade up, if there's, you know, because there's all type of scenarios. So I'm not talking about those scenarios because we can go down that for all day long, and it can be. But if there's no reason, there's nothing blocking you from being in a child's life, and the mother is open arms and been dying for you to be in your child's life. Be the man that you are supposed to be, and be in your children's life. That is why we are having so much of this stuff going on the street. This man, Jeremy Brown, beating on this woman like it's okay. Who raised him? Why was no one there to teach this cat better than that and let him know you're going to put your hands on the wrong person, man? And if he's been doing it, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said at least to him one time, like, you're going to put your hands on the wrong woman, man. I'm surprised. Like, he had to be. If you in a neighborhood, black neighborhood, he doing that, he done heard that Like, I'm telling you, man, you gonna put your hands on the wrong woman, man. I'm telling you. So he got what his hands called for, but who was there to raise him properly and teach him? A woman, what she says to you shouldn't make you feel a way that you should ball your fist and have to punch her or hit her, slap her, anything. Peace and blessings to everybody. Make sure y'all share this. Tell a friend and tell a friend. This is Space Invaders TV. Till next time.